Hi, this is Bart with the Bicycle Rider YouTube, and we're going to do a little something different tonight. The time has changed. It's got dark earlier. It's cold outside, and I'd like to share how you can take advantage of this time of the year by using indoor cycling training room and indoor cycling in general. And here at the Bicycle Rider, we try to review products that we feel are cost effective. You get a lot of value for your dollar. And sometimes when you're looking at indoor training and some of the new trainers, you start adding up the prices, and it's astronomical, and you kind of get discouraged and decide you don't want to dive into that. You're just going to hang up the cycling legs for the year and wait till the spring comes and start again. But I'd like to show a couple techniques I use that are very cost effective and actually can get you indoor cycling on the cheap and make it good for your training for the winter months. So stick around for a few minutes, and I'll go over some of how I set up my indoor war room, and maybe we can share some ideas together and figure out how we can make this the winter months interesting for all of us and get a lot of beneficial training out of indoor cycling. All right, thank you. All right, well, as promised, I would give you a tour of my personal indoor training facility. And I make that sound fancy, but it really is just a spare room in my house that my wife and I have set up with a couple bikes, a couple trainers, and a few tools to make the time in here interesting. And I'd like to touch base on that just a little bit because I hear people say that they don't like indoor training or that they hate training inside. It's so boring. It's this, it's that. And, to me, hate is a pretty strong word. And I think if you are a beginner and you hear these words, you might get it right off the bat that this is not what I want to do. But let me just tell you, as a veteran cyclist, it's really interesting, fun, and beneficial to be able to ride your bike inside in a controlled environment. And one, I would just like to say it's riding your bike. So maybe you're not outside on the beach, or maybe you're not riding with a bunch of friends outside getting fresh air, but it's still riding your bike, and I think riding your bike's fun. So, I don't have any problem training indoors, and like I said, I've set up a few different situations where I can keep it fun and interesting and really beneficial when it comes to the training. And, personally, I like to race, and I've got some events coming up. So I've worked hard all summer of building my fitness, and I don't want to lose it just because the group rides have slowed down or about stopped during the week, because I really do get a lot of my fitness, during the week after work. And, I just got off work. It's, a little after 6 o'clock. I just got home. Normally, when the sun's up, I'd be out on my bike with the group. But it's just harder to get people motivated when it's 6 o'clock, it's pitch black outside, and it's cold. Yes, it's possible. With today's light technology and today's clothing technology, you really can, jump these hurdles, and you're able to ride outside, pretty good. But like I said, it's just harder to get a group to do it, and sometimes riding by yourself in the dark on the country roads maybe isn't the safest thing. But, setting up a pain train room or an indoor cycling room, a war room, whatever you want to call it, is not that hard. And some people get down on it when you start looking at the prices of some of the indoor trainers. You start looking at the technology and you're like, I don't want to deal with all that. You look at some of the apps and you're like, they're expensive and they're monthly. But let me just show you some of the tricks I do to keep the cost down and keep the fun level up. I bought a couple smart trainers a few years ago, and at the time these were some pretty high-tech units, but over the years the tech on these has kind of grown. What I've got here is I've got a Cyclops Magnus Smart Trainer. It's one of the trainers that actually has a wheel-on design, and to me this design works pretty good as far as keeping things interesting, but also in a small, affordable package. And I like being able to keep my rear wheel on, because when you have some of the more high-tech trainers that wheel off and it's got its own cog, if you have to take your bike off because you want to go ride outside, there is a little bit of effort to unhook it from the trainer, switch the cog, put a wheel on, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those trainers because I've seen them. They're really sweet, and I hope to try the new Wahoo system later on. But this just makes it easy. If I want to take this bike on a ride, really all I have to do is unhook it from the trainer, and basically take it outside and ride it. And to put it back on, it's the same thing. I just slap it in and put the tension up here and turn it on, and I'm ready to go. And I did say turn it on because this is a smart trainer, so this one, it needs a power cord if you want to get a lot of the functionality. If you just want to dummy it down, it does have a mode where you don't have to plug this thing in, and it works as a fluid trainer. So I've been pretty happy with the Cyclops trainer in the summertime when I'm not in my training room much. It folds up pretty small and goes into a closet. The price on these kind of trainers are a little bit less than you'll find on some of the more advanced wheel off trainers, where you have to pretty much take your rear wheel off, put your cog on it, and it acts as your system in the back. And I think the technology with those is really great. So I mean, if you're into indoor cycling, you probably already know what I'm telling you, and you might even have one of those on your own. But my wife and I made this investment with this style trainer before that whole technology came out. So that's maybe 5 years ago, and I've been using the Cyclops Magnus trainer for quite a few years. I'm not gonna say anything bad about it, and I've got to say it's been a good trainer. It does what I need to do, and it seems to work really well. But you don't need a smart trainer. I used to use one that was a fluid trainer, and it had some resistance, that a cable that went up to my handlebars, and I could turn my resistance with that and make it harder or less hard, and that worked great. Nowadays with this style trainer, since it is a smart trainer, it's got power built into it, and I can actually use my Garmin here to increase or decrease the resistance if I'm hooked up to one of the more advanced apps like Ruby or Trainer Road or Zwift. The technology makes the wheel, if I'm going up a hill, it seems like there's more resistance. If I'm going down a hill, it doesn't. They've even got augmented reality on some of these apps. So I mean, you can make a lot of interesting developments with your training, as far as some of the training metrics that come on these apps. And you could really dial in your fitness. But for those of you that just maybe aren't on such of the racing mode and just want to keep general fitness, there's some other methods that I use for that as well. You can see I bought my wife a table here that's pretty sweet. So in the morning when she gets up on this, she can have her coffee and have her cell phone. She can actually put her laptop here if she wants to send emails or watch a video or something on her laptop. It goes right up here. But what I do a lot of times is, I don't have my fancy cameraman Gary with me, so excuse me as I kind of fumble around here. But I use this method quite a bit with my training, and I've got a laptop with a little table down here, and I can use my remote control mouse, and I can control my laptop. I can actually plug this in through a cable and have it displayed on my TV here. So I can get some work done like that, or I can run a video through YouTube. And I really enjoy, the YouTube GCN videos. They have a whole segment on training videos, and I'm probably going to do that this evening. I don't have to run it through my laptop. I've got a Roku player, and YouTube's an app on Roku, so that's almost a free way to do it. And I really do enjoy, like I said, I enjoy their videos and their banter, and I learn a lot about cycling and what's going on in the cycling world through GCN. So it's a good way to kill time on the trainer and spin your legs. And that's a lot about indoor training, is you don't always have to be on a program. You don't have to listen to a guy telling you to pedal faster and pedal slower and more resistance and less resistance. You can watch a movie, you can watch a bicycle race, you can watch football. I mean, there's just so many things you can do, but as long as you're pedaling, you're getting time in the saddle, and all that time accumulates and is beneficial to you, instead of you not cycling at all because it's cold and dark outside, you're doing something. And come springtime or come the weekend when the weather's nice and the group's together, you're not gonna feel that hurt that the people who just put up their bikes and didn't ride at all are gonna feel. You can actually gain a lot of traction with your fitness and with your cycling by doing indoor cycling. And like I said, there's so many ways to do it. I'm going to make a few videos on how I personally do it, and I am training for some events. So I'm gonna use this time where I don't have to worry about traffic and I don't have to worry about balance, and I'm going to really refine my pedal stroke and look at my power and maybe do some really important intervals. And sometimes, when you're out cycling in the group, you're worried about your safety and other people's safety, so you don't have time to dial in as much as you can, on an indoor trainer. So I'm going to use the time wisely to kind of, escalate my fitness for racing. But like I said, that's not for everybody. If you just want to exercise and want something to do and enjoy pedaling because you did it this summer and you enjoy cycling, well, try the indoor trainer. And you don't always have to look at the mainstream what everybody else is doing. You don't have to spend $700 on an indoor trainer. You don't have to spend $20 a month on a subscription. You can buy a $30 or $50 fluid trainer and use YouTube for free and really get a lot of benefits out of your indoor training sessions. So there's several ways to do it. You could use a DVD player and a DVD. This is this old Mark Cavendish DVD that I really enjoy. Even with all the technology I have, I still pop in a DVD, and you can use that through your laptop, or I have a dedicated DVD player down there. I like having a TV that kind of swivels a little bit, but that's not something that's necessary. Like I said, I bought my wife this really nice desk, and she likes it. But I personally use I use a little table here a lot of times, and when I'm training, I don't have a desk, so I use a little stool, and I can use my laptop, or I can put my cell phone down here, and make that work for me. Another thing I found that's pretty important is a towel. You sweat a lot when you're on the indoor trainer, and so I use a mat. I've actually got a carpet and a mat, but I just use a little ring and I attach a towel to my bike, and that way when I start sweating, I wipe everything down and I'm good to go. Some of the smart trainers, you can use your Garmin for resistance, and that's what I'll do this evening. But there's several ways to get resistance on a trainer. So I just wanted to give you just a quick overview of what my wife and I use at our house. Oh, this is important. It's always nice if you have an overhead fan, because it's nice to keep the air moving. I bought a little remote control fan. So when I'm on the trainer, maybe if it's chilly out, or I keep this room pretty chilly, I could start off with no fan, and I don't have to unclip my pedals and move to get my fan on. I just can click the button here, and I can go low fan. As I start building up body heat, I can go high fan. So it's nice to have a fan as well. I'm going to say that's a pretty important piece of the puzzle. So if you have a trainer, something to keep you occupied, and a fan, you can really dial in the training and get a lot. Use this time of the year beneficially. So when you come out of the box in the spring, or like I said, on a weekend, you can really put the hammer down on your friends. Or if you just want to socialize more, you can socialize without panting and overexerting yourself because you haven't been on your bike all week. I'm going to try to do a whole series on this. I don't have Gary and my fancy camera equipment, so the lighting might not be perfect, but I think just getting the point across that indoor training is pretty fun if you just set things up. It doesn't have to be expensive, and I'll give you kind of a rendition of how I do it. But the thing is, start now. We're already a week into the time change, so go ahead and start getting your thing set up. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to help you on your setup, or things I do. But the thing is to start now. Don't wait another week, and don't wait 2 more weeks. Let's get the ball rolling so we can all come out of the box pretty fit this spring. All right. Thank you.